Cloud?
Cloud?
Get out of here. Nobody cares about you, especially not when it's sack time. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh wow, we can't really see anything of this figure other than his eyes, really, in this box. Are they like this in physical stores as well? Because I'm buying all of these online. I see these pictures when I buy this stuff, you know? Because what's the point of this window if this is how it looks in the store, right? Oh. Looks like he's been at the hairdresser.
I just can't believe that we're in a place where people are mad about it.
That is pretty cool. I love it when they do stuff like this. Can you see that? The spikes on his hair, or the edges of his hair, is blue. That is pretty cool. I love that, actually. In terms of the size and all the details and the sculpts and everything, I'll compare him to Cloud later on, but I think they are pretty similar, actually. But we'll see. I would be surprised if the sword was different, and Zack can stand on his own. That is good. This looks almost kind of weird. I don't know what's weird about it, but I feel weird looking at this. But it is a nice touch, and it's obviously there so that you can have him hold the sword in front of his face. And interestingly enough, on the box, they showed him holding the sword like this, which I can kind of understand, because I know he has the sword the other way around on his back from Cloud, but this just feels weird to me, especially when we see him in Rebirth, spoilers by the way, when he does the thing with the helicopter in the beginning. He does put the sword on his shoulder like this, but he does have it the right way. I think he even flips it a frame before he does it. So I'm actually going to display him like this, most likely. I think that actually just looks better. And these swords are identical, which makes sense because even canon-wise, it is the same sword. So it would actually just be weird if they changed it for some reason, you know? Even if they upgraded it, that would be like, no, you don't do that.
No.
But I do find it pretty interesting that all the way from the boots up until the belt, I think the sculpts are identical. They both have this number 7 on their chest, which is interesting because I don't think this is the same sculpt. But maybe it is. Maybe the chest is the same except for these straps. One thing I have to test now is to see if the arms are swappable. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. That means you can probably swap the heads as well, which means that you can have a young Cloud in the Adorable Arts form. Because look at this. Boom. I know that's not accurate, but we do have more arms from Zack. But a part of me thinks that I should complain about this and say, oh, it's not good that we didn't get unique parts for these figures. But if you're familiar with the in-game models, Zack and Cloud's model are the same, with the same exceptions as these figures. So they do have the same feet, the same legs, the same torso, with the exception of the straps and the shoulder armor. Zack is a bit bigger, his proportions are a bit different, but it's the same model, but it's just been adjusted a bit. He has a bit bigger arms and so on. He's a bit taller.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
His pants are a bit wider, I think. So it makes sense that the figures based on that same game does the same cheating, essentially. When we look at the scale, this is the first time that I'm kinda disappointed because I think Zack should be a bit taller than Cloud, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with this. I think the pose of that arm could have been a little bit better, but it also makes sense because of the awkward shape of his hair, and you can't really put the sword inside his hair, even though that's one of my complaints with Rebirth, is that Zack's hair is clipping through the sword whenever he walks around. You know, you had one sword model to worry about for Zack. You couldn't have figured out a way to have his hair not show up through the sword. Like, didn't you have that figured out in the Crisis Core reunion thing? Like, why is this a Rebirth problem, you know? But enough of that. I think it's time to place him in the collection. And here we are. I actually have to stand on a stool to reach Zack's part of the collection because it is basically at the ceiling, and I'll simply place him right here. No tripod for this. I'm doing everything one-handed, really high up. It's really sketchy, and there you go. And you might be asking yourself, for a guy who has this really big Final Fantasy VII figure collection, why do I only have 4 Zack figures? Why don't I have the really nice PlayArts Kais that came out recently? And the simple answer to that is, I don't collect Crisis Core figures.
You know what? I'm about to say it.
Say it.
I don't care.
And the more complicated answer to that is, I don't collect Crisis Core figures because I don't like Crisis Core enough to collect figures from it.
I don't know what images you've conjured up in your head, but...
Genesis! No!
Genova.
I don't know, it's a complicated feeling. I don't know why I can't really buy figures that basically look exactly how they do in the games that I like, but when it says Crisis Core on the box, I just can't get myself to buy it. It would make my collection feel messy, but for some reason I don't feel the same way when it comes to Dissidia and Smash and Theater Rhythm and World of Final Fantasy and so on, because I'm fine collecting those, but anything from the compilation or Kingdom Hearts, I get this weird messy feeling when I even just think about collecting figures from those things. So I don't know why that is, but that is why I don't collect them. But there you go, some collector's psychology for you. I need to stop this, my arm is getting really tired.